Yahoo, Mina! Today's game is a European game originally developed by French developer Loriciel, originally for personal computers, but brought over by Victor Music Industries in 1991 to the PC Engine. In fact, a number of Loriciel games made their way to the PC Engine in this period, and I wonder if this is related to the aborted release of the European PC Engine. But in any instance, today I'm looking at an action puzzle game, Skweek. Released in 1991 on HuCard, Skweek never made it onto the North American TurboGrafx-16, and at its heart, it's a sort of action puzzler, albeit a very simple one. You play as Skweek on his mission to overthrow the horrible, nasty, bad empire who has overrun Squeeze Land and covered the ground in a poisonous blue sludge, and your mission is to turn it back to a nice pink, squeaky clean, you could say. In order to do this, Skweek needs to walk over the blue and sometimes grey tiles to change their colour and can only move orthogonally, not diagonally. Hindering you on the stages are pits, traps, slippery tiles, self-destructing tiles, enemies and others out to get you. Really, this is all there is to it. Skweek can pick up various power-ups like a movement speed up, projectile enhancements, bonus points and extra lives. As noted, Skweek can shoot enemies, and this can be powered up with multi-directional shots, a laser that can shoot through walls, and also a free shot which will take down the otherwise invincible flames. Some stages require the use of a shortcut to get to areas that are otherwise sealed off from the main play area, or to navigate around the stage quickly to paint the town pink before time runs out. Presentationally, this game looks very colourful, and the rainbow background can be turned off if you prefer a more sedate look. Character design is a little derivative, and I probably err on Skweek looking a bit, kooky rather than cute. I kinda like him though. With infinite continues and passwords, the 99 stages of Skweek will keep you busy for a while, and that's kinda the problem. I kinda get bored quite quickly with Skweek. I'm a big fan of puzzle games and action puzzle games, but there's something about the controls and the stage design that eventually adds to either frustration or creeping boredom. Let's talk about the stage design first. At first, the stages are pretty wide open, allowing a wide area that you need to turn pink. But as the stages develop, they tend to narrow down into a single block wide pathway that you have to navigate carefully, which does add a little strategy, but it makes it a little limited feeling, I guess. Next is the controls, which are generally okay, but Skweek can be a little bit slippery, but the Turbo Boost power-up makes Skweek zip about pretty uncontrollably, so I tended to avoid this if it popped up. Because Skweek can move freely on the tiles rather than being restrained to them, it does mean that it can be easy to unintentionally fall into a gap sometimes, and it can be a little frustrating, but I have played a lot worse in this regard. Some of the enemies can be really infuriating, such as a cloud which seems to flip the tiles back to a poisonous blue, and others that can expand the tiles outwards, increasing the amount of tiles to clean up. In theory, this all sounds good, but by the end of the game, you're racing from one end of the playfield to the other to try and mop it up in what you have already cleared. I think, unfortunately, it's the monotony that does for this game, leading to being a game I am happy to play, say, maybe 5 or 10 stages of, and then switch off. It's not bad as I say, it just needed something to break it up, maybe a jump mechanic gearing some platforming challenge, bosses every 10 stages, or maybe sub-bosses, or warping to completely different stages that need clearing up. All sorts of things could have been added, or instead of walking over tiles to change the colour, a Mario Sunshine-like mechanic spray gun that could have been cool. Even the 4 coloured bears that you can pick up only give you 3 extra lives. How about a bonus stage? I don't know, I'm just spitballing. One thing that I thought would be a saving grace, though, was a 2-player mode, so I invited my good buddy Hisao over to play.
Hey everybody, long time no see. Skweek's 2-player mode. I don't mean to be unkind about it, but it was a bit boring. Maybe even pointless.
Yeah, I was actually pretty disappointed by it as well. Can you explain it for us?
Well, there really isn't much to say because it's not a cooperative play mode. It's sort of a head-to-head challenge, but because you play alternately and the only competition is score, I felt it really was tacked on to the game. Otherwise, you're both playing independent games of each other. Imagine if this game allowed 2-player cooperative and each player could kick the other Skweek into enemies like a bowling ball to knock them out.
Like Kiki Kaikai Nazo no Kuromanto or Pocky and Rocky?
Well, if you say so, Saki, I've never played that game.
What? No way, dude. That is a legit stone cold classic.
Yeah, not played them all, Saki. But that kind of idea could really add a bit of fun. I just found the 2-player mode a bit needless, and there isn't a huge amount of fun in high score challenge in this kind of game. Pinball, yes. This, no. As a game, it's just okay, but it kind of gets tedious after about, 10 rounds? I suppose at least it didn't require the multi-tap and 2 controllers.
I do kind of feel bad for the character because he's not cute as such, but he's kind of kooky and I like him for that. But he's in just a bit of a dull game, isn't he?
Which is really ironic given how colourful this game is.
True. Any other thoughts on whether people should go out and buy this game or play it?
I think all I can really say, Saki, is that it's fine enough to play for short bursts. It's clearly a game that took inspiration from the originating work Crush Roader from Alpha Denshi. As a port, it's a faithful conversion of the Loriciel Skweek microcomputer original. Thankfully, it's a better game than other Loriciel PC Engine ports, which is daring it by faint praise really though. If you're a PC Engine collector, I've seen that Skweek can be bought relatively cheaply if you're patient, but it can sometimes fetch a bit more than what I think it's worth. One thing I will say, Saki, is that this copy looks nearly mint.
Yeah, isn't it typical Hissao? A game that isn't all that is the one in my rubbish heap that is actually in really good condition. Anyway, Hissao, thank you so much. It's been so rad to have you back on. Sorry the 2-player game went out on a bit of a whimper, or should I say, squeak.
No, Saki. No, you shouldn't.
So on to the summary. First, the Japanese level. This game is entirely in English with no Japanese language text at all. I rate this game as none on the Japanese level. In terms of overall rating, this is a fair game, or 2 stars out of 5 on my rating scheme, although at times I thought maybe this is even a 1-star game, but it's not fundamentally broken. It's not an objectively bad game, it's just a bit of a dull one after a few rounds. So much so you begin to resent the little squeaky dude, and that makes me feel really bad for him. In short bursts, Skweek is a time filler. As a physical game, it's a quirky shelf piece. If you're looking for similar styles of games that also have 2-player modes but are better games, Goof Troop on the Super Nintendo is great. Dexterity, or Funny Field as it was called in Japan, on the Game Boy is much more similar to Skweek and a better game. And last, Mendel Palace, or Quinty as it was known in Japan on the NES or Famicom, is an overall better game as well. Unfortunately for this little fluffball, it just couldn't quite squeak a good rating. As always, like, subscribe and all of that shit, and also check out this rad Rubbish Heap merch, available worldwide on Redbubble and Amazon. See the links below for how to purchase. I've been Saki Endo, and this has been a Rubbish Heap. Ja ne ne!